ScreenRant viewers beware. Spoilers are ahead for Wicked Part 1. While the movie is a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, the prologue opens right after Dorothy Gale liquefies the Wicked Witch of the West, aka Elphaba. And as the Land of Oz celebrates the witch's death,
now we can go back to the wizard and tell him the Wicked Witch is dead.
Dorothy Gale appears with her friends on the yellow brick road. Alongside the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and Toto, Dorothy walks along the yellow brick road. With Elphaba's broomstick in tow, Dorothy and her friends are on their way to meet the Wizard of Oz. And though Dorothy's companions appear as earlier versions of themselves across the prequel, this is Dorothy Gale's only scene in Wicked Part 1. And she never appears again in the entire movie. That said, Dorothy's cameo appearance serves its purpose well. From what remains of Elphaba to Dorothy and her friends walking the yellow brick road, the prologue reminds viewers which classic story Wicked is built on. Curiously, the movie slightly changes Dorothy's appearance in the Broadway musical. Originally, Dorothy doesn't even appear on stage. However, she arguably has a stronger presence on Broadway. Apart from being heard crying off stage when she's imprisoned by Elphaba, a silhouette of Dorothy later tosses the bucket of water that liquefies the Wicked Witch. And this was notably omitted in the movie, which has a slightly different prologue for stylistic reasons. So which is better, Dorothy's appearance in the Broadway musical or the movie adaptation of Wicked? Well, it's ultimately unfair to compare the two. Film and theater are actually very different mediums. In the Broadway musical, the sound of Dorothy crying instantly villainizes Elphaba from the get-go, setting up her twist-ridden journey in the story. Conversely, as Wicked Part 1 doesn't dive into how Elphaba actually turns into a villain, putting this Broadway element in the prologue would have been premature for the movie adaptation. In addition, Dorothy crying off stage and her silhouette would not have had the same impact on film, where they might have come off as cheesy. So instead, movie magic paved the way for a quick recap of the third act of The Wizard of Oz, which in turn would have been impractical for the Broadway stage. In short, given the respective strengths and limitations of the mediums, both the stage play and the movie did a great job at featuring Dorothy Gale. Moreover, Wicked Part 2 will have more scenes featuring Dorothy. But first, another spoiler warning is in order. Slated for release on November 21st, 2025, Wicked Part 2 will adapt Act 2 of the Broadway musical, and this includes Dorothy's arrival into Oz. Whereas Elphaba sees the truth behind Oz's beauty, Dorothy is simply enamored by this idealistic fantasy. And their contrasting views underscore the overarching themes of Wicked, a revisionist fantasy that turns the story of the Wizard of Oz on its head. With Elphaba being pushed deeper into villainy in Wicked, Part 2, the hero of the film that started it all, is bound to make another appearance. How do you think Wicked Part 2 will use Dorothy Gale? Tell us your thoughts in the comments and keep watching ScreenRant.